Hey Flower Tribe, it's Kelly Lehman from Cranberry Fields Flower Farm, and I want to tell you why your hydrangeas may look like this time of year, even if they're endless summer or the type of hydrangeas that usually have a lot of green growth on them at this time. It's April, and some of your hydrangeas may look like this even though they should have a lot of leaves on them. I'm going to let you know why I think this may have happened. If we haven't met yet, it's nice to meet you. My name is Kelly Lehman. I'm the owner of Cranberry Fields Flower Farm here in Cranberry, New Jersey, and I love giving you guys fun, free flower tips. So please feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the bell notification so you know whenever I post another fun, free flower tip video. So let's dive right in. So this question was actually sent in by one of our Flower Tribe members on Instagram, and our Flower Tribe member's name is Allison Wisdom. What a great name. And she said in comments, "Hey Kelly, normally my endless summer are full with green leaves this time of year. I'm from Tennessee. Any idea why they have not filled out? Should I trim more?" So here it is in April. And by April, usually the endless summers are kind of like in that full leafy mode right now. A lot of mine on the side of the house look like that. But there's a lot of my endless summers that are in the front of my house that experienced something called winter zap, or that I call winter zap. And they look horrible and they have no leaves on them. So I'm going to walk you outside. I'm going to show you why I think this happened. And Allison, I hope that this answers your question. And guys, keep those questions coming in comments below. I base most of my podcasts and my YouTube episodes on the Flower Tribe's questions. So let's take a walk outside. I just want to let you know that when I was filming the episode, my mic kind of cut out. So you might be seeing me do a lot of hand motions and they might not be matching up with the actual words, but we'll do our best. We'll get through, and I'm going to let you know what's going on with those hydrangeas right now. So let's go take a walk. These are the endless summer that are on the side of my house, and we had a snowstorm towards the end of March this year after there was a lot of new growth on the old wood. And what I did was I ran outside. It was, almost nighttime when I realized we were going to get a snow and the temperatures were going to drop to 20 degrees. And so I covered as many as I could with just some sheets to protect that new growth. And the hydrangeas that I was able to cover seem to do really well, and that's why they have these green leaves right now. And there was a whole bunch of hydrangeas that I didn't get a chance to cover that are right next door to them, and you can tell they experienced that winter zap. So those new fresh buds that should have been leaves right now and that would eventually turn into stems and blooms, they were actually frozen off. And the same thing happened to the hydrangeas that were in the front of my house. They were exposed to even more wind and colder temperatures, and they had hardly any protection. So they experienced that winter zap also. So they had a lot of frost damage, and all those buds were frozen off. And on top of that, the hydrangeas that are in the front of my house, the endless summer, they were transplanted from a very shady spot last fall. And so this was like their first real season getting used to their new home. Their roots weren't yet established, so they had like the double whammy. So they did not do well by any means, but there's some new growth coming in from the bottom of these plants. So I think that that's okay, because I'm just going to wind up missing out on the first flush of flowers that should come in the beginning of summer. But I have great faith that I'm going to wind up getting some beautiful flowers coming in from the new growth in the base of the plant, because endless summer, they have two different like flushes of flowers. So that's the good news. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and just cut off some of those dead branches that are on the plant right now, because at this point it's the end of April, and anything that would have sprouted or kind of given me some of those new fresh green leaves on those old wood stems would have shown up by now. So I didn't want to cut back the plant right away at the end of March or the beginning of April, just in case the plant rallied, and it did give me some of those new fresh buds. But at this point, I can pretty much tell which stems have those viable flowers and which ones are just dead. They just were damaged too much. So I usually do not prune back my endless summer in spring, but the ones that experience the severe winter zap, I'm going to come in here and take a look at the branches that are totally dead. They're going to have just white centers. There's going to be no sign of green. And those I'm going to cut back because I don't want the plant to have to support all that dead weight. And I'm also going to get rid of branches that may have holes in them. They may have like cane borers that were inside of those. Those are the insects that kind of eat away and leave little holes in the branches. And I'm also going to get rid of any crisscrossed branches because they're rubbing up against each other and, they're like weakening each other. So I'm going to get rid of the skinnier one out of those two. And I'm going to cut out any dead, damaged, and diseased branches from these endless summer. It's also a good time to shape them. You might want to give it like a little bit of a haircut in case they got a little bit too large for the area that you want. Now's a good time to see where some of those dead branches are that are sticking out, like on sidewalks and walkways. Now's a good time to give them a little bit of a trimming back. But know that whatever you trim, any kind of green that you trim off, you're probably getting rid of the blooms that would have come from those branches that would have come from those stems. If your endless summer are looking more like this, then I would leave the plant alone unless there were just a couple dead branches. I would clean it up as little as possible because you're going to wind up cutting off this year's blooms if you really start hacking into this plant, because as you can tell, it has those really beautiful green leaves on them. So this is the type of hydrangea I would pretty much leave alone at this stage of the game, unless I saw something like this, which once again, you see all this green growth, and then you'll see one or two of these stems that have nothing on them, and they look really dead. There's probably a cane borer in there, so this is the only time that I would come in and get rid of this dead branch on this plant, and I can probably take this one all the way down to the ground, or at least I see a little bit of new growth down here. So I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm gonna wind up cutting it right about here just to get rid of that dead weight. Yep, so that branch was pretty dead all the way through. So let me just carefully get rid of him, and I'm gonna make sure I don't rip off any of this new growth as I'm removing this branch. So I'm gonna go really gentle. Okay, so the rest of these endless summer that have the new growth on the side of my house, I'm totally going to leave alone so that I get beautiful flowers. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and please hop on over to my Cranberry Fields Instagram page and say hi to us over there. And also know that my online flower courses that teach you how to grow amazing flowers in your own backyards are on sale. I have them on my Retrieve online flower course library, and I'll put that in descriptions below. Also wanted you to know that I have a brand new podcast out. It's called Gardening Flowers with Kelly Lehman, and I will put that in descriptions below. And I hope you guys enjoy some of these quick, fun gardening tips that you can listen to while you're working out, or carpooling with the kids, or driving to work, or gardening. And a lot of you have asked me to come up with that, and you asked for it, you got it. So please let me know where you're viewing this from in this great big beautiful world, and I will see you in the next video.